Hi everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thanks very much for watching our earwax removal video today. We've got this really thick, dark clay type earwax in this particular patient's ear canal. Now, we know that the suction tube is not going to work great against this particular type of wax. So we're going straight in here with a Jobson horn, but you can see as we're pulling this through, it's just quite sort of soft, but also very, very sticky. So as we're starting to bring this out, what we're not doing is taking huge chunks away. What we're doing is just breaking the surface down. And you can see as we took that section away there, how it stretched out of the ear canal then. So let's take a look behind that one. Now we can see we just chipped the front end off this wax. So we're going to keep using the Jobson horn for the time being. We've got to press quite hard into this material to sort of break it through. Now I want you to imagine almost a plasticine type consistency for this type of wax, and that very kind of sticky stickiness to it as well. So not like chewing gum, but just wants to bind to itself really, really well. But what we're doing at the moment is taking this groove out to the center of the wax. Now the reason I'm doing that is because when we look inside of the ear canal, we need to know where the bends are so we don't accidentally scrape along the wall or push a tool into them, because that would be quite uncomfortable for the patient. So when I've got a plug like this where you can't really see the canal wall because everything's stuck to it, I always like to work my way down the center so far and then start to collapse the sides in, and that's exactly what we're doing here. Now sometimes we'll get a little bit of the side breaking away as we did there, but you can see we're just knowing then we're just working straight down the middle, so we know we've got very little chance. There'd have to be a very extreme change in direction in this ear canal for us to push the tool against it. So we're just managing to take all this central section, making this lovely little groove down the middle, and then we can unstick the sides. Now, the other reason I do it that way is because when we've got this very sticky clay type wax like this, and especially when it's formed a big plug like it has in this ear canal, it means that the sides are really, really very, very stuck to the canal wall. So if you try and pull this plug out, those sides are going to be holding on. They don't want to come away. So if you take the central section, which is what we're doing here, and then bring the sides in, we can detach that really sticky wax from the sides of the canal wall. But there's a lot of wax in this ear canal. You can see we're taking not small chunks away, we're taking pretty meaty chunks away here. Now we've also got to be careful when you're using this technique is how far you're going down the center of that plug. Now the last thing we want to do is keep going and going and going and accidentally touching the eardrum with a Jobson horn. So what I tend to do at this point, as you can see here, we just switch it up a little bit. You can see just how sticky that wax is. It does not want to come away from the canal wall, but we'll switch it up, use a little bit of suction just to tidy everything up, pull everything into the center. We'll put a little bit of olive oil in here as well, just to try and help to detach this from the canal wall. If we put the olive oil in before this point, what would have happened is it would have hit the surface of the plug, but it wouldn't really have penetrated around the side, so it would have made very, very little difference. But when you put it in at this point, because you're pulling these sides away now, the olive oil will work down the side of that wax and down in between the wax and the canal wall itself, and it's going to help then to keep that wax from re-sticking back to the canal when we do get this moving. But you can see we're just sort of collapsing, almost folding the edges over one another into the center, and then that way then we've got a better chance of getting a good enough grip to pull this out. Excuse me, sorry. So we're just going in now, back in with the Jobson horn. Let's take these pieces we've just folded in there, let's take those away, and then we can really start working on the back end of this plug. So you can see I'm just nipping over the top of it slightly there, not going in too far. There we go, I've broken that section away. Now it's not unusual when you get these particular types of wax. Sorry, interrupt myself. You can see we've got that little gap now at the top, which is great. That means we can now see where the eardrum is beyond the wax, which gives me a bit more scope to get behind it. So what I'm doing at the moment is compressing the top down, creating a bigger gap there above the wax, and then we can jot over the top with the Jobson horn and pull this forward. You'll see what I mean now. Unfortunately, in that case, the top end of the Jobson horn just clipped that little bit, that thinner section of the top, and just pushed it back up again. So I worked slightly below, because sometimes if you pull down in that middle section of wax, it'll curve that top end back down. This is the end we're talking about here. There we go. Now it's a lot thinner. We can compress that down. We've created the bigger gap. Now hopefully, if we've detached enough of the wax from the sides of the canal walls, then this central portion that we're working on now is going to come away from the ear canal wall a lot better. So let's take a look behind that. There we go, you can see we're all starting to collapse down. It's still pretty stuck though. Let's see if we can get a good scoop. Oh, that's a good piece coming away. I could see the side detach then. It looks like the other side's also started to detach as well. So we've got a really good piece. You can see a little bit of dry skin if I lift this back up. It doesn't want to be lifted up. There you go, you can see that dry skin underneath. So it means that those bits of dry skin were actually stuck obviously between the wax and the canal wall. Let's take a look behind it. Oh my goodness, there's still more in here. So we've got a very deep section. Most of the time these deep sections will be quite mobile. In this case though, unfortunately it's stuck in the anterior recess. So I'm holding on to it here because obviously we can't put a lot of pressure forwards, because if we do that it's going to push against the eardrum, but we've just got to kind of wiggle it very gently to the side and out this is coming. It wouldn't surprise me if this gets stuck on the way out. Oh, no, we're good to go. We've just cleared it. So you can see that the sort of round ball of much harder wax that was sitting in there. There's the eardrum. So this is what it looked like to start with. This is what it looks like afterwards. So you can see a very, very different ear canal there. This is what we removed. So 4 centimeters, just over 1.25 inches worth. No, it's not. That's damn it. Just under 1.75 inches. I'm sorry, guys. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video as much as I did. Oh, I keep forgetting to ask you guys to subscribe. I need to do that in the middle of the video, so always leave it to the end. Thank you, guys. If you do enjoy the channel, please subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed this particular video, give us a thumbs up. And as always, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of your ears, and take care of one another. And I'll see you again real soon. Bye, everyone.